Global happenings today. We communicate, we analyze global news. Stay tuned. Hello guys, welcome to Global Happenings Today. We have a trending news here for you. And the headline of the news reads, APC Oshiomhole dark secret to be exposed in a 3-hour documentary by Ex-Speaker. See the date. But before we continue with details of the news and further analysis, we'd like to encourage you to please subscribe to our channel by clicking on the red subscribe button and also on the bell icon so that you can get notification anytime we publish videos on YouTube. All right, let's look at the news in detail. Alhaji Kabiru Abjutu, who is the immediate past Speaker of the Edo State House of Assembly, is set to release a 3-hour documentary exposing the national chairman of the All Progressive Congress, APC, Adams Oshiomhole dark waters. He made this known on Monday that he will not stop to release everything Oshiomhole has been saying, but the Oshiomhole camp said the former Edo governor has done no wrong. In an interview with Nan in Benin on Monday, Adjutu said the documentary will be shown to the public on January 13th in Abuja. Adjutu, who described Oshiomhole as his longtime political confidant, said the documentary would expose Oshiomhole's dirty malfeasance in his days as governor of Edo State. The APC chieftain said that the documentary was part of his planned nationwide campaign against Oshiomhole, who is currently the national chairman of the ruling People APC. Adjutu disclosed that the 3-hour documentary highlighted some shady deals allegedly carried out by Oshiomhole in Edo Central Hospital contract and the 30 billion Benin stormwater project. The former speaker named other questionable projects executed during the Oshiomhole's era as the airport road contract and some other transactions handled by Oshiomhole at the tail end of his administration. The problem I have with Oshiomhole is not personal, but a disagreement over reversal of initially professed democratic principle. Every atom of principle he preached and benefited from is a sharp contrast to what he is championing today. Adjutu claimed that he has the backing of critical APC stakeholders, including 7 governors, whom he said has thrown their weight behind Oshiomhole must go campaign, which he said would hit the street soon. Commenting on the forthcoming Edo APC governorship primaries, the APC chieftain reiterated that any team sent by Oshiomhole to conduct the primaries will be vehemently rejected. He said that the rejection of Oshiomhole was because the APC national chairman has been suspended from the party and that he lacks constitutional power to preside over any affairs of the party. Oshiomhole should be ready for a Zamfara showdown in Edo State if he makes any attempt to spearhead the primary process, because he is behind the crisis bedeviling the party in Edo State. He said the Oshiomhole suspension from the party had been rectified in his ward, local government, and the state's executive committee of the party. The former lawmaker noted that the incumbent governor, Mr. Godwin Obaseki, must enjoy the right of first refusal during the primaries, otherwise the process will be enmeshed in catastrophe. He disclosed further that he would be meeting with notable traditional rulers in Oshiomhole's senatorial zone, including the Otaru of Auchi, to inform them of the looming consequences that will face the suspended national chairman of the party if he fails to retrace his step. Without mincing words, the next few weeks will be very interesting. After the release of the Oshiomhole documentary, Nigerians would judge if he is qualified to lead a party whose principal trademark is fighting corruption, Ajuke added. He advised the 4 APC governorship aspirants against falling into what they call Oshiomhole's crafty political whip. Abjuto said he would meet with the aspirant to make them see reasons to queue behind Obaseki for the common good of Edo people. But reacting to the allegation of fraud against Oshiomhole, the member of the Oshiomhole scam, Mr. Henry Dagagbon, said the Obaseki and the current secretary to the Edo government, Mr. Osarodion Ogie, should also be included in any fraud charge against Oshiomhole. Idaragbon, who was Attorney General and Commissioner for Justice during Oshimole's administration, said that every project executed during Oshimole's era was approved by Obaseki as the chairman of the administration's economic team. He said that the contracts cited by Adjuto were over 90% completed by Oshiomhole before he left office, dismissing accusation against the APC national chairman as unfounded. Edo State is set for governorship election this year, August. All right, that is quite an interesting one there for Oshiomhole. Wow. A lot to be said. Things are really happening. And I think this is a good one because it will unveil a lot of secrets by these guys. They have been enjoying, they have been involved in all manner of fraudulent activity. Thank God an in-house person is about to, break their bubbles, is about to open up on a lot of things that have been happening in Edo State. All right, but before we go on with further discussion, let's just look at one or two comments by Nigerians. This one said, Ajoto, the native doctor, we know you very well. Yes, go ahead to expose Oshiomhole. It's all good for Edo State. But one thing is that you can't expose Oshiomhole without exposing the very people in government today. The president sacked SSG, was the commissioner for works. The governor was chairman economic committee. In fact, he was one that sourced for the loan. As for the airport, you will also expose Captain Osa that is backing your governor. He was the first person that got the contract but didn't do a good job. The deputy governor has built mega filling station and bought properties worth hundreds of millions within the space of 3 years. Of course, he's not corrupt, but fighting godfatherism. Why do you want a right of first refusal when the governor is okay? When the governor claims to be in charge, that there's no faction in APC in Edo State. So the primary shouldn't be very easy now. All APC ward to local government chairman are with you. So right of first refusal should be easy. In fact, the state APC will also be the one to determine if it will go with direct or indirect primary. So why are you bothered? But I know why you are, because the APC chairman lives in fear. They dare not come out against the governor because he will crush them like he always say. But when there's primaries, you can't control the chairman. You know very well that 24 hours is a very long time in politics. So keep blabbing. This must be an insider talking. And another person says here, hi. Okay. This one says here, before you release, make sure you have strong, incontrovertible evidence that can stand in court so as to avoid unnecessary pregnancies, in quotes. Another one says here, I once told a $30 billion cocoa processing project. I once took a $30 billion cocoa processing project with 65% international finance to Oshiomhole office to ask for a 250 million naira Edo State government sponsorship. His chief of staff told me that he will be thinking of how many classrooms he could build with 250 million if I mention such monies to him. To me, that is enough reference of property from someone closer to him than a former speaker. Libel is a crime. The only wrong that I see Oshiomhole made was to back Obaseki for Edo State governorship in 2016. And I want to say, stupid idiot, what do you think your documentary can do? They won Obasanjo drop on article. How many people view it? Oshiomhole is bigger and greater than you and Obaseki, as you have the lame backing of about 6 failing governors. So does Oshobaba God Buhari, and Jagabam. Wow, a lot of stuff to read here. And from all indication, those who are writing here have deep insight into what is actually happening in Edo State. And the last one I'm going to consider, say, did Ajuto say he was a confidant of Oshiomhole? Okay, let him spill the bean. That will be the end of Ajuto's political, economic, and social life. If you treat Oshiomhole like this, all other politicians would have to avoid you like a plague. Even your personal friends will desert you eventually. I feel sorry for Ajuto. You see, our people say if you scratch body as in scratch you, you go scratch your body, reach blood. This matter be like mosquito wey e dey for blockers. No, na sense so. That's some great word. A lot of reactions by Nigerian, and we want to look at this precisely because it's quite interesting that someone who is an insider in Oshimole's regime and who has been an ex-speaker of the Edo State House of Assembly is about to spill the bean, revealing the secret, the deep secrets of Oshiomhole. And he has clearly said that his problem is the fact that what Oshiomhole is preaching is actually in contrast with what he practiced when he was the governor of Edo State. According to him, so much of fraudulent activity, so much of corruption has been seen by, the Edo State, Oshimole's administration. That's when he was a governor. But looking at this from the political angle, I just like one of the respondents have said, I think there must be not just words of the mouth, not just documentary, but we need to get to a point whereby there are visible evidence which is going to be using to fight him. Because I know that when this whole thing is blown aloud, certainly EFCC will at least come in here to see how they can, because immediately Nigerians get to hear about the documentary and a lot of fraudulent things which he has done. A lot of those things are spanning into billions of naira. So immediately Nigerians get to hear about it. Certainly they will come for Oshiomhole immediately. And don't forget that right now, why all of this is happening is the fact that Oshiomhole has been a thorn in the flesh of the current governor of Edo State. According to him, he said he's trying to control virtually everything that is happening in Edo State, and he is not ready for such to happen. And being not ready for such to happen is a clear indication that he's not ready also to feature as, the gubernatorial aspirant for APC come August, which is Edo State governorship election. And that's why they're doing everything within their power to see how they can oust Oshiomhole out of that position so that they will at least have free flow of power. But let's be real here. Based on the information we have gathered thus far, you can see that the person who was in charge of issuing out contract, who was like the chairman of the committee, was actually Obaseki. So whatever you are going to do, approval of contracts to Oshiomole's office and all of that, the whole thing is intertwined. If you are trying to drag out one person, you're going to drag out all others. So I believe that Obaseki, being a smart dude, will need to call Ajuto to order at this point, because the whole thing is going to expose everybody. And this is an indication that this issue of fraud that we have been hearing, this issue of corruption, is widespread. I've been hearing them talk about a lot of corruption during PDP's time and all of that. But if you take into cognizance, if you're really a political student, you've been following trend of events ever since this present administration came on board, you notice one thing which is very, very peculiar, that we are talking about billions now in terms of corruption. It's increasing every day. Imagine a governor given such opportunity and he's like tying everything. 30 billion naira is some good amount of money. This guy was just, what's his name, Ojuso, who is now, cooling off in Kuje prison, was just, I think his own case was 7-point-something billion naira cumulatively. But there's another person here whom we are hearing 30 billion naira. So I think that at this point, the government itself must stand its ground to see how they can deal with all of these people, just to make sure that at least it will be proven beyond reasonable doubt that truly the present day government is really out to fight corruption. Corruption has been the order of the day, especially in mostly APC state. It has been the order of the day, and this is an opportunity to see, by the time this thing is being played out, all those that are involved must be brought to book. And also, this is an opportunity for the people of Edo State also to know the kind of person who was in power, and also to know if Obaseki himself was involved in the whole transaction. Don't forget that it has already been exposed that he was a chairman. The SSG also was fully involved. He was a commissioner of works during that period. So if anything is happening which is inimical to the economy of Edo State, all of them somehow they were involved. I hope by the time this exposition comes out, the documentary comes out, we will get to know the position of everybody. So I know that at this point Obaseki might like to draw this guy and say, please don't expose this thing. I think we can deal with this man some other way. But since he has already come online to tell Nigerians, to tell everyone via an interview that he's going to expose it through a 3-hour documentary, we are waiting to see the content of the documentary, and from there Nigerians will know what to do. Don't forget that we are overly very good when it comes to social media. It will be spread abroad and everybody will know the next step to take. All right, that's where we're going to leave it. Go to our comment section. Let us interact. What do you think that this 3-hour documentary of Adam Oshiomhole, dark secrets and fraudulent practices during his own tenure as the governor of Edo State, what do you think it would do? Do you think that after this position that EFCC would jump into action to correct it?